This is windy days right now. What I'm doing is I changed out the enclosure. The original enclosure used a navy fabric. It's probably a sunbrella. What I did was I made a new bimini for it out of white Olympic canvas. And I replaced this piece too. I was able to salvage the glass, or the plexiglass. I've now made a new side curtain. It's not fully attached. I'm working right now on this piece that's going to go right here. And I just finished putting in the snaps down at the bottom. So the next step will be to put the female snaps on the canvas itself. Bring this around. This was another one of my projects. And this was just to protect the rail cover until I can actually get to it and sand it and varnish it and make it look right. It is March 3rd, 2019. Here's that other rail cover right there. And over here, I have made a side curtain over here as well. Here's two more. I kind of just pulled them out. This is the corner that goes right here, and this is the piece I'm working on right now. Now the thing I'm doing differently, this is all one panel, and this was the first side panel I did. It's pretty big. What I found, it's kind of big, it's hard to handle. So that's why with this other side, you've got this break right here because of the pole. So what I did with the other side is I'm making two pieces, a smaller one and the one I'm going to measure today, which will be this other side. I already know that I'm going to cut this and make this shorter because I don't like the way that's matching up right there. So over here is the side right now that I'm working on. And all this material I got from Sailboat, and it's been pretty easy to work with. So still have the original Dodger. That is pretty much the only thing I still have that's original, and I'll be changing that out as well. Okay, let me show you again the difference. This is the panel I'm working on right now. I zippered into place right here at the top, and then right here on the side. So this is, like I said, I'm trying to do on the other side. If I go back to the port side, and I'll go ahead and put in that corner piece also. Okay, I have this triangular piece now in place, and similar to the other one, you've got a combination. You've got a zipper here, another zipper right here, and then you have snap to snap on the canvas right here, and then snap to screw in across the base. Now, as I said before, this was a big piece, and it is kind of cumbersome to mess with once you take it off. So that's on the port side. So coming around, this is the starboard side, and I think it's going to make a nicer fit using the smaller panel. So instead of one big panel, I'm going to have a smaller panel and a little bit larger panel. And this time I'm going to put my separation right about here in the middle, maybe a little bit closer to the right. So when I do this, I'll have the smaller panel and then this larger panel. This is the one I'm going to work on today as far as getting the fabric. So what I've done already is I put the snaps into place, the screw-in snaps. And when I did that, I drill it, and then I countersink it just a little bit. And once again, all these things you can get from Sailboat. You don't want to just put your screw directly in there. You want to use some of this stuff that goes around the screw before you put it in the hole, and that way it keeps it watertight, and also you don't have to worry about it when if you need to take it off. So you want to use this stuff right here. Once again, from Sailboat. All this stuff's from Sailboat. They do a good job. In fact, they've got a great video on how to do this. what I was trying to show is how I'm doing it on my Hunter-31. So I've never seen anybody do an enclosure on a Hunter-31, so I thought this might help out if you're thinking about doing one on yours. So the next step is to put the female snaps on the bottom of this. So I'll mark it. I'll just do like 1 or 2 snaps at a time, because if you try to do too many, you're going to mess it up. So you just do 1 or 2 snaps at a time. So that's what I'm going to do. And I space these snaps about 4.5 inches apart. And there's 5 of them. Okay, this is the tool I'm about to use to put the female snap in the canvas enclosure part that I'm about to do. You've got one little piece here, a little hard to see. You've got one piece here and then one piece here, and then you're just going to put these two together like that. It's kind of like a vice grip, and you can adjust the tension over here on the left side to whatever tension you feel like you need. Kind of obviously like a vice grip, you want to get it as tight as you can, but to where it'll work. So I'm about to put that on the canvas right now. Okay, I just put one on. You have to make sure that you get the female part on this side, and it's like, and then the push part on that side. So I unzipped it to kind of, so I had better access to it. Alright, so I have this panel now in place, and the next thing is to create a pattern for this area right from this zipper and this zipper over to this pole. That'll be my cutting point. So what I just finished doing was the snaps along this bottom edge. And once again, you just do them one at a time. Did that one, then this one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. And you just want to do that one at a time, and that way you get a good fit. So I've got the starboard side partly done, and I'm breaking it into 2 panels versus the port side, which I did with 1 panel. And I can later on, if I want, cut this right here and make 2 panels, which I probably will do also. But as you do it, you learn different things, and I want to just show you how I'm breaking it up on my Hunter-31. One thing I did do that I really like a lot is I created a nice window for this Velcro closure that I've got on it right now. But new window material there, so it's got some water on it. It's rained recently, and it's just closed up with Velcro like that. In fact, I just pieced together some material. It's just scrap material, so I try to use every piece I can, even if I have to piece them together. So when Sailrite does this, they're actually in their warehouse, so it's a much easier, simpler situation to do. Everything's kind of in a nice little test tube. This isn't a test tube. This is right out here on the water, and it's middle of the winter. Actually, it's almost getting toward the end of winter. It's March 3rd, 2019, but it's a pretty calm day, and you want to do this when it's pretty calm. So when I do a pattern, I go ahead and just kind of rough measure it, and I already have a dimension for my height. I'm going to cut the pattern about 52 inches, and for the width it's going to be about 31 inches, and that gives me about 2 or 3 inches on each dimension to work with. But it's just so much easier to work with once you've got it cut into a basic size shape. Now I'm going to put some seam stick right here on this zipper, seam stick on this zipper, and I'm going to run some strapping tape from here down to this point. So I get a straight line there, and then I'll run seam stick along this edge, and then I'll run strapping tape and then seam stick, and then I'll start working on the pattern. Okay, I'm getting ready to do the pattern for this back panel. I've put seam stick on this zipper here. I've put seam stick down the length of this zipper here. On this side I put strapping tape, and then I put seam stick on top of that. And then right here I ran strapping tape from this pole straight down to this corner. Then I taped it down, but that left me sticky on this side, so what I used was just some green masking tape to put on the back side of this, so that when I put the pattern on, it doesn't go around and start sticking to the back of that, because I wouldn't be able to get it off. I learned that the last time I did this. So I'm about ready, and I'm going to pre-cut the pattern larger than what I need, but easier to handle. And then I'll go to fitting it into place. So I'm about ready to do the next thing. I've got to do this because there is rain coming. Okay, I've made the panel. Excuse me. I've made the pattern for this back panel, and I marked off where the zipper begins and ends, and this is the inside of the zipper. Same thing here. And even though my line got a little squiggly right here, it really doesn't matter. And this is one of the backstays right here, and you have to make a space for that. Now this isn't going to be hopefully as rough as that, but I have to find out where it was. So I'm trying to leave plenty of extra space for it, and I probably need to go a little bit further this way. Here I made a line straight up. Once again, the most important thing is this mark and this mark. I can just straight line it between that, but this is just to give me a guideline of where it is. So what I did here, I used pink, by the way. It's pretty, it marks it. So right here I just went ahead and made a mark here, and what I'll do is I'll go on the outside and I'll measure how far down I want this piece to go, and I'll match it up with the piece that I already have right there. But as far as the pattern is concerned, it's blowing, there's a little bit of wind blowing into the cockpit right now from the port side, so it's pushing it out, but even still I was able to get it. If it had been much more wind than this, it probably would have been a lot of trouble, but I was able to do it with this little bit of breeze that I'm getting right now before the rain comes in. Now this is the pattern material that I got from Sailboat. I definitely recommend it. It has this inner nylon lines, and that keeps the pattern from stretching one way or the other. Definitely recommend using that. And once again, they've got a great video on how to do this, but this is actually doing it right out here on the water, so it's a bit more difficult than trying to do it inside a nice, pretty warm warehouse. So that's the way I'm doing it, and move on to the next step.